Welcome back to the MBU Basketball Coaches Show. I'm Joel Divick, and we're joined as always by the man in charge of the women's basketball program here at Missouri Baptist, Sam Pearson. And Sam, coming off a tough loss to Columbia, you had a 3-game week. Probably, the week that preseason conditioning, just gritty toughness mattered the most for at this point in the season for the squad. And you guys came out with 3 wins. Talk about the win against Hannibal. You really blew them out of the water, and then tough win against Stevens at home, and then went to UHSP and put another defensive showing on.
Yeah, man, that tough week, man. Tough week. Any road win is in the conference is challenging, but man, a 3-game week late in the season. Like you said, that Tuesday night, Hannibal's always a tough place to play, but man, we were able to impose our will early, set the tone defensively, and get out of there with a pretty considerable victory. Got a little deeper down the bench, and that felt good, to get our depth, some in-game experience, that we can count on later on. But man, Stevens is a changed program. Coach Andre Bell's got them, really rolling, playing a tough brand of basketball, guarding the heck out of it, playing with good tempo, and he kind of switched up his game plan, put a zone look on us that had us on our heels, really. But we were able to gut it out, keep our composure down the stretch, make plays when it counted, and come out victorious here at home, man. And then on to Pharmacy Saturday. Was a nail biter. If you look at ending score, it was a 10-point victory. But we didn't trail the entire game. I thought that we came out from the jump with a good game plan. Wanted to really push the tempo, get up on the #1 leading scorer, maybe the best player in the entire country, and make every catch tough for, make every possession tough for, guarded the ball screen, I thought, for 3 quarters. Fourth quarter, she really got loose. But, man, I thought it was a great defensive effort, top to bottom. I thought that Lauren Ebert's on-ball presence on Grace Beyer for the 2nd game in a row really won us the game, But, the help from Alexis Alston, Casey Rice, Casey Rice had one heck of a game offensively, man. So it was a team effort, man, and it feels good to win games in different manners. We could have the Tiani Taylor go for 40, or we could have a Casey Rice and a Lauren Ebert outing, or a Deanna Dodd, Alexis Alston, and a Bryce Dow showing. So man, it feels good to be able to win games in different ways. And it's just kind of up to me to figure out what that recipe is, in the game plan, and for them to just be them, man, and I've said this a couple of times on the coaches show, man. I think that, all I need out of them is just to be the best version of themselves, and then it's up to me to put the pieces in place, put the game plan in place, and go out there and execute, man. And, in a 3-game week, man, it felt good to be able to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys are attacking in a lot of different ways, and it could be Alexis Alston getting, 20 and 10, or it could be Tiani Taylor is always a threat to score.
Yeah.
Or it could be a mix of a lot of different people, like a Bryce Dow off the bench, like Deanna Dodd, who can get hers.
Yeah.
So, talk about, you guys have clinched a spot in the AMC postseason tournament for a couple weeks now.
Yeah.
But those games against Stevens and UHSP, did those feel like postseason games? I mean, you guys, there's a potential to see those guys in the tournament because they have clinched as well.
Yeah.
So going into this final week of the regular season, how do you kind of, take away from those games and try to put that mentality into the team for the postseason?
Yeah, man. They definitely had a postseason feel, man. We're this late in the season with 1 week left. Everyone knows, each other's tendencies. Coach Bell knows what I want to do and how we want to play, and vice versa. Same with Coach Reese over at Pharmacy, man. So it's all about grit. It's all about execution. It's all about toughness. It's going to be a back and forth battle. With those with teams who are at the top of the conference. Like Pharmacy and Stevens. But to be able to lock in, play with a lot of energy, play with a lot of effort. And kind of and control both of those games. I felt like was big for our group. Stevens had us on the ropes at their place last time we played. And then obviously Grace Beyer is one of the best scorers in the country, man. So they definitely had a playoff feel. And I thought that late in the season it was good to have those games, one at home, one away. in preparation for the tournament. But man, we still got a couple of games here this week. We got a Stowe team who plays with a lot of toughness, plays with a lot of grit, a lot of physicality. And a Cotty team that, man, we went to Nevada, Missouri a couple of months back, man, and they gave us all we could handle. They play a good brand of basketball. They shoot it well. And they got probably 8 girls who could all score. Not one just dominant score, but they, scored on all different types of levels. So we still got our hands full here this week. We're going to take it one practice at a time, one day at a time, one film session at a time, one game at a time. And continue to ascend. We're on a great trajectory here thus far. And I want to continue to ride this momentum through the last week, and then on to the conference tournament.
Absolutely. We talked a little in the post game after Stevens about how it's nice to have the final 2 games at home.
Yeah.
Don't got to deal with travel or any of the stuff that comes with an away game.
Yeah, no doubt.
On top of that, senior day. It's a big one for you guys. You being in your 5th year, you're honoring 3 players in Alexis Alston, Lauren Ebert, and Tiani Taylor that were all part of your first recruiting class.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what that'll mean. You kind of get to maybe stop and appreciate the moment a little bit.
Yeah.
Despite the tremendous season you're having and with having so much in front of you. It seems.
Man, it's going to be special, man. Those players are cornerstone players, to who we are today, and the success we've been able to attain, throughout the last couple of years, man. They're some of my first recruits in my first recruiting class, and they've helped me grow, as a coach and as an individual, challenged me in many areas, and I've watched them grow, into from young adults to mature ladies, man, and it feels good. It feels good to watch their success here this year on the court. There's aspiring physical therapists and dental hygienists, so man, to watch them now grow into their adulthood, man, feels good as well, so it's gonna be emotional, but it's gonna be special, man. That's what it's all about. Tiani Taylor is gonna get married at the end of this year, and at the end of the day, man, when the ball stops bouncing, it's about lifelong friendships and partnerships, and mentorship, and I'm glad to experience it with them, with a special group of ladies, and hopefully we can send them out the right way, for senior night, here Saturday against Cotty, and then on into the tournaments, conference tournament and God willing the national tournament. It just kind of feels good to plant those roots early on, with a special group of young ladies, and now things are finally blossoming for us, man. So we're looking forward to it, man. It'll probably be a little emotional for us, man, but they deserve it, man.
Yeah.
They deserve it, man. They've worked their tails off over the last 5 years, man, and so it feels good to be on the other side of it, man. So we're excited for it.
Absolutely. In the end, it's bigger than basketball.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
absolutely
right. I think that's a good note to end on, Sam.
Yeah.
Thank you for the time.
Man, always a pleasure, man. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you. That'll do it for Sam and myself. Make sure you're keeping it tuned to MUSpartans.com for all the links on the women's basketball team for their final week of the regular season. We will be right back with Preston Ingram and Kevin Paulus.
Welcome back to the Coaches Show. Preston Ingram, I'm Kevin Paulus, and Preston, you guys carry the momentum of the win over Columbia a couple of Saturdays ago. You get a couple of wins, first against HLG on Thursday night, 78-72, but we always talk about how hard it is to win at HLG, and that was a struggle on Thursday night.
Very much so. Very much to the point where I even told him before we left, because we have so many guys on the team that has never played over there. And, I mean, like, anytime you play Hannibal, at least for us and some other teams also too, it's a tough place to play at. I mean, like, they shoot the ball really well, and that night, again, kind of proved the point. We got down 20, I think it was, but our bench guys really kind of came in and kind of really put us over the hump and allowed us to be able to get up and press and put some pressure on them. We turned the ball over, we got them to turn the ball over a little bit and allowed us to be able to get back in the game and get us a win. But our bench kind of saved us on that part and kind of shows our depth to it. But very tough place for us to play. And Jason runs, I say this all the time. I mean, I was telling this to Danny the other night, is I think Jason and Danny run some of the best motion offense there is out there. And they get guys to get shots. And when they start shooting, Naeem started off the game, right off the rip, knocking down some shots. And then it just filtrates his confidence. And anytime you give confidence to somebody else, it's an endless drug for that. And so for us, we're lucky that we got out of there with a win the way we did. And it took a full 40 for us to get that done.
Right, and I think you guys took your first lead with like 2.5 minutes left or something. I mean, it was an uphill battle the entire night, but I think it is, against a team that I think has won 2 games in the conference, you're looking at that like, man, it never should have been that close. But if you look at it from a positive perspective, like you talked about, the bench really saved you guys. Like, that you guys were a little bit sluggish and you needed that depth to step up, and they really did.
No doubt. I mean, I thought Nico played extremely well, rebounded the ball extremely well. I thought Dalen and KD both came in and put a lot of pressure. I thought Bryce came in and did a lot of good stuff. And, I mean, all in all, I thought that our guys really did really well. And Tyrell. And, I mean, Tyrell was kind of in that second unit there for a minute. And his physical stature and his defensive abilities way to do that. And we need that. I mean, we're going to need that the entire time because at the end of the day, what we don't know is it could be anybody's night at any point.
Right.
Which I think is the beauty thing about scoring by committee is if we don't care about who scores, then we just know that we need to be able to provide a substance. And it might be tonight, it may be the next night. And that night, we needed those guys to be able to do that night. And it helped us prevail and be able to get us a win.
Moved into Saturday where you took on UHSP, and it was kind of the same thing in the first half. They came out strong, were hitting shots. You guys were kind of fighting an uphill battle, but then those shots started to not fall. You guys turned it up defensively on them in the second half. You end up with a 12-point victory. That was a good win just because it's a win you had to have to really stay in contention right now.
No question, especially everything else that happened that day.
Yeah.
And, I mean, like us getting down 14-3, it's, again, I explained this again before we went over there, that it's a tough place to play. I mean, they played tight with us last year. And it's the dominant we were last year. I mean, we only won by 10. And it was a tough game. But, again, we got to get to a better start. I don't think that we're getting off to very good starts here of late. I feel like we've been pretty slow. I thought we got off to a decent start at Columbia. We needed that, but that's been the first time that we've got off to a really good start. Defensively and offensively, we got to be better, And again, I mean, I thought that Nico came in and played really well for us. I thought that Tyrell came in and rebounded the ball well for us. Tyrell was 4 assists away from having a triple-double.
Right.
Jadis had 7 assists. He has 6 assists. Hardy scored the ball well. We was kind of talking about that. I didn't realize he even had 25
points. Yeah.
I didn't realize it. But again, we needed some guys to step up and be able to do that. And, I thought that we've done that. And we've got to be able to continue to be able to do what it is we need to do. And to their credit, again, Grant just came off of a 16-assist game. And I think he just broke the single-season record over there also, too, for assists in the game for them. And he's as good as anybody when it comes to facilitating. Undalisa is about a matchup nightmare for anybody.
Right.
It's unfortunate where they're at because I think that Undalisa could be a top-tier player in the league. Trey Minnie, I think he's as good as anybody.
Right.
I mean, they've got a lot of pieces over there. And so, I mean, it's not just so you're playing against a team. I think it's been proven this year, probably more so than not, in recent years, anybody can beat anybody at any point. And us to getting 2 road wins are tough wins.
Right.
And you got to get them. And for us, since that Columbia lost to Woods, it puts us back into a tie. And going into this week, there's a lot going on to it. It's not a clear cut like it was last year for us or for anybody. We've got to continue to try to move the needle.
Yeah, one more thing about you talking about slow starts, and it's nothing against HLGU and UHSP. Against better teams, some of the top teams in the conference, you're not going to get away with that. You go down 14-3 against Columbia, you may not ever recover from being 11 down. So.
Absolutely. And we've done that a couple of times, right? Yeah. I mean, we get out to Woods here, and the second half we go out slow, and Woods takes the lead and gets up maybe 10.
Yeah.
We get up at Columbia, and then there's like a 20-point turnaround. We're up 10, and then they go up 10. And then now here we are fighting to the very end. We've got to stop the bad haps at at Harris Stowe. At Harris Stowe, we're up. We're in control of the game. We have a bad 4-minute half, or stretch in the second half, and Harris Stowe takes over.
Right.
We have to eliminate these 4-minute lulls where we go donkey brain and we're not very successful on anything that we do.
So it's that point in the season, one regular season game left, and then, the postseason coming up, the AMC tournament, wherever you guys may be seated in that. It's when you want to be playing your best basketball. How do you feel about, sort of where you're at with this team as far as playing your best basketball of the season at the right time?
That's a great question. I think we're close, but we're not. I don't know. It's been a unique year this year. We've dealt with a lot of injuries, and we still got some guys pretty banged up right now. We've been having some inconsistencies, but, the thing I even told the guys after the pharmacy game, I go, as much as we've been inconsistent, we're in content of the title or having a share. And if we could ever just put it together, man, I think it could be scary. But I told them, quit living off potential. I think that's the worst word that anybody can ever use to somebody. They said, man, you got a lot of potential. It just means you have not done anything good or bad, right? Like, either be great, or if you're going to be good, let's be great. And if you're going to be terrible, just be bad. But, don't have potential on either way it goes. Let's have potential where it's not a potential of something. Let's be of something of substance. And if we have that, where we have this value in the substance of some sort, and not just live off of potential of what we could be, I think we have a lot of talent. I think we have a lot of good physical tendencies to us. But we got to get out of the potential mode. And if we do that going into this postseason tournament, I think we can make a run at this thing and try to make it happen. I think we've been proven that we can beat anybody, but we can also lose to anybody. We've split with a lot of teams. We've swept some teams. Either way that it goes, and it gets into the postseason tournament, after this Saturday, all records are out. It's back 0-0 again. And that becomes a one-game shootout that it's like golf. You can either make some shots or not make some shots, but if you mess up a putt, you can't get that putt back.
Right.
And we've got to make sure that we make our putts. We've got to make sure that we hit the fairways, and we've got to make sure that we hit them straight. Because if not, then you're out, and the season's going to end short.
Absolutely. One regular season game left, that against Harris Stowe on Thursday. It's also senior night. You're going to be saying goodbye to sort of cornerstones of the program right now in Terrell and Jadis and Brendan and Deshaun, all four of them. Just talk briefly about what they've meant to the program. I mean, you're talking. Before we started the interview, we're talking about Brendan's going to be top 10, top 5 all-time scoring. Jadis all-time assist leader right there at the top. You're losing a lot, but you're not losing them yet. Let's.
Well, no doubt. I think their attributes to the program has been twofolded. Yeah. We say we take care of business on Thursday, and we win at least a share of the title. That's back to back, and that it hasn't happened since 2003-04. If we can make a postseason push, they've done things that hasn't happened in a long time or ever. And they've had a lot of staple to this program the last 3 years here. It's one of the reasons why we're in content the way that we are. If it wasn't for the COVID year, I think we might have been in the content again. And because we was right there. And it's just unfortunate we got COVID and all that stuff happened. But they've been astronomical to me, to our program, to where we're at, about winning and doing things that we kind of ultimately want to do. Jadis is going to end up being, I think, a top, finish second right behind Jamari. And I've been blessed to be able to have 2 point guards. They're number 1 and 2 in assist of the school. When you talk about Hardy is an all-time, probably first ballot Hall of Famer here. He's been now part of potentially 3 championships, 3 conference championships. If we can make a run, we won a conference tournament, but if we make another run, it'd be something else that'd be special. And to be a top 10 all-time leading scorer, that just says a lot about him and what he's about. Tyrell being one of the best defensive players to come through the program. This year, I think he really finally put himself on scene. And then Deshaun's just been a consistent guy, a defensive guy. He's not going to be a stat-hungry guy, but just been a consistent guy for the program. And, to have these guys the last 3 years has been familiar faces that we're going to miss and be able to see on that part. So hopefully we take care of business for them for senior night. Senior night's always an emotional night. It's also a lot of distractions, a lot of ups and downs that could happen. And Harris Stowe's coming in hungry because they have a chance to be able to still get in the top 4 if they take care of business. And there's still so much that can happen for Thursday. And so we know what's at stake. We know that Harris Stowe knows that what's at stake. But we need to be able to celebrate our seniors the right way, but we also need to be about our business, about getting into what we need to do going into the postseason play.
Thanks, Coach.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
That's Preston Ingram. He's the men's head basketball coach here at Missouri Baptist, and you've been watching The Coaches Show.